Apple just had its worst security nightmare come true. Not a rumor, not a concept render. An actual hacker group broke into one of Apple's manufacturing partners and leaked over 200,000 real internal files, including real photos of the iPhone 18 Pro, months before Apple was ready to show it to anyone. This isn't your typical leaker on Weibo story. This is Apple's actual supply chain blown wide open. And buried inside those files is the most detailed picture we've ever had of what's coming this September. I'm going to break down exactly what leaked, what it confirms, and what it means for whether you should buy this phone. If you care about where AI and tech are actually headed, hit subscribe. This is Zero to AI. Let's get into it.
Here's what actually happened. In mid-June 2026, a ransomware group called WorldLeaks broke into Tata Electronics, one of Apple's key manufacturing partners in India, and stole more than 630 gigabytes of data. That's over 200,000 individual files. When Tata didn't pay the ransom, WorldLeaks dumped everything on the dark web. And this wasn't junk data. The files included component lists for the main circuit board, battery specs, camera module details, supplier contracts, basically the entire bill of materials for the iPhone 18 Pro. And it included actual photos of iPhone 18 Pro units mid-testing, including drop tests. Why does this matter beyond just, oops, a phone leaked early? Because Tata isn't some small vendor. India now assembles roughly 1 in 4 iPhones sold worldwide, about 55 million units in 2025 alone. 4 years ago, that number was basically 0. Apple has been aggressively shifting production out of China, and Tata became one of its most trusted partners in that shift. This breach doesn't just expose a phone, it exposes exactly how fragile that shift still is.
So, what did the leak, combined with everything else we've heard over the past year, actually confirm? Design-wise, don't expect a dramatic overhaul. The iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max keep the same 6.3-inch and 6.9-inch sizes as the 17 Pro line, and the same camera plateau, housing 3 rear lenses in a triangle. But the leak specifically confirmed something rumors had been circling for months. The camera bump is getting physically thicker, and the individual lenses now protrude further from the body than before. The back is also changing. Instead of the two-tone finish on the current 17 Pro, leaked images show a single, more uniform frosted ceramic shield across the whole back, cleaner, more seamless, less sticker-on-glass looking. Color-wise, we're expecting 4 options. Dark cherry, which is new, alongside light blue, dark gray, and silver. Cosmic orange and deep blue are reportedly getting killed off. And here's a detail a lot of people are going to care about. The dynamic island is shrinking. Not disappearing, shrinking. Apple is reportedly moving the Face ID flood illuminator underneath the display, which frees up space and lets that black pill get noticeably smaller.
Now the part that actually matters for performance. Inside is the A20 Pro chip, Apple's first chip built on TSMC's 2nm process, a jump from the 3nm process in last year's A19 Pro. Historically, a full node jump like this brings meaningful gains in both speed and battery efficiency, not just a marginal bump. For connectivity, Apple's moving to its 3rd-generation C2 modem. But here's a wrinkle straight from the leaked bill of materials. It looks like the C2 modem might be exclusive to international models. The US variant may stick with Qualcomm hardware instead, specifically because Qualcomm still supports full millimeter wave 5G, something Apple's own modems haven't cracked yet. American carriers spent years building out millimeter wave infrastructure, so Apple dropping it from its most expensive phone in the US market would be a strange move. There's also a new N2 chip handling Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth, and reportedly 5G via satellite support for browsing without any Wi-Fi or cell signal at all. But the headline upgrade, the one people have been waiting years for, is the camera. The main 48-megapixel camera is getting a variable aperture. Every iPhone Pro since the 14 Pro has shot at a fixed aperture of f1.78, full stop, no matter the lighting. The camera software did all the work. The iPhone 18 Pro breaks that pattern completely. This is the first mechanically adjustable aperture Apple has ever put in an iPhone.
And this isn't just a rumor anymore. The leak lines up with real supply chain movement. Sunny Optical has already started producing the actuator mechanism, and LG Innotek is ramping up full module production months ahead of its normal schedule, specifically because this new mechanical part carries a higher risk of defects. That's not speculation. That's a company spending real money preparing for a part that doesn't exist on any iPhone yet.
Every upgrade has a cost, and this year, it's literal weight. Leaked drop test images and component data suggest the iPhone 18 Pro Max is getting heavier and thicker than its predecessor, the trade-off for a bigger, more capable camera system, and, per a separate leak just this week, a battery roughly 10% larger than the Pro Max before it. Interestingly, the smaller iPhone 18 Pro's battery is barely growing at all, under 1%, meaning Apple may be pushing the Pro Max as the clearly superior option this year in a way it hasn't in previous generations. And Apple isn't stopping at the Pro line this September. Sharing the stage will be the iPhone Fold, Apple's first ever foldable phone. Leaks point to a roughly 5.5-inch cover display and a 7.8-inch inner display when unfolded, running the same A20 chip, but with Touch ID instead of Face ID to save internal space. Expect a price tag between $1,999 and $2,399. This isn't a budget experiment. It's Apple's most expensive phone ever made, launching the exact same week its own manufacturing secrets got leaked to the entire internet.
So, should any of this change your buying decision in September? If you're on an iPhone 15 or older, the jump to a 2nm chip, a real variable aperture camera, and a smaller dynamic island is a legitimately meaningful upgrade, not just a marketing refresh. If you're already on a 16 Pro or 17 Pro, this is a much harder sell. The design is nearly identical. The core camera hardware, sensor size, lens count, isn't changing, just how light passes through it. Unless variable aperture specifically solves a problem you have with your current photos, you're paying a premium for incremental gains. And if you're eyeing the Fold, go in with your eyes open. First-generation foldables from every other manufacturer have had hinge wear, crease visibility, and durability questions. Apple typically waits years before entering a category specifically to avoid those problems, so it's worth watching the first real-world reviews before you spend $2,000 finding out if they actually solved it this time.
That's the most detailed picture we have of the iPhone 18 Pro so far, and unusually, it didn't come from Apple's marketing team. It came from a hacker group that broke into a supplier and dumped Apple's secrets onto the dark web. If you want the moment Apple officially confirms all of this in September, subscribe now. Zero to AI will break down the keynote the second it happens. Drop a comment. Are you upgrading this year or skipping it like the last two generations? I read every single one. See you in the next video.